Hey guys, back in the natural habitat of the shed. Some of you know I've been around Wales for a couple of days on the Triumph. I have taken some video footage of that, which I will sort out probably later in the week. I've been sat here, as you can hear a lawnmower going. I've been sat here for God knows how long waiting for it to finish that lawn, and it's going and going and going, so can't wait no longer. So as you can hear that, do apologise. Anyway, more importantly, back on Dan's bike. So as you can see, we've got a very dirty 350 Enfield engine sat here. Obviously that will be taken care of at a later date. We'll pretty much strip quite a lot of the engine out and do my big cleanup on that. But for now, we are doing a bit of a mock-up build. So basically we've put in the bike together. So we'll start with the frame. We'll get the girder forks in, which I've now got a spring for, and we'll see how that goes. And then the tank. So the tank that Dan sent me is an earlier tank, and it would have mated up with obviously a different engine, which was a bit shorter. So we're going to see how that goes. I'm going to do my best to make it work. If it works, we'll then go into the seat pan and make all that sort of flow with the frame, tank and everything else. So we'll start with getting the frame on. I think hopefully it'll go all right, because they can be a bit of a pain with the castings on the engine. They do throw brackets out slightly, or can do, and you can get a bit of misalignment. It's easy enough to put right, but we'll see how it goes. So, and with little hammer, let's get the frame on. As they used to say on a certain British children's TV programme, is one I made earlier. Yeah, I didn't film too much of this. I think you've seen it before, so I just got on with it. So let's see how it fits. All the engine brackets are loose to make it a bit easier. And all the nuts and bolts you'll see me using, they're all temporary, just to get the mock-up done. You will go in. There we go. Yeah, all these are loose. Eventually this bracket here will be welded together as one, because every single one is misshaped. So the front ear normally sort of buckles in like so. So we clamp it up all straight, then weld it all up down the middle. But we won't do that till it's all fixed, because basically we'll be using the frame and the engine as the jig to weld that together. Right, I've just put this block under so I can tip it up so I can see what I'm doing. And the bolt slid straight in then. I certainly won't be using these Allen bolt socket screws, whatever you want to call them. Get it off that block. Right. Yeah, I think, so I'll leave it all loose and get all the things on that I want on first. I think we'll have a go at putting the girders in. That's a fiddly job. So I'm just mocking it up with a few bearings. I wonder if there's anything I can wedge. If I just put a couple of more in there actually. Oh, I've dropped one, come on. This is where you need another person or a couple of extra hands. It's the back of that chair, gonna hold that. Good enough. Just drop a couple of bearings in that top one. I'll say it's just to hold it about right. And these will all get replaced with new ones. I think it might be best if I take that bit out, just to make it easier. I'll make it easy to get the spring in as well. Yeah, I've made a sort of a mounting point for the top of the spring because it didn't have anything on there. So what I'm doing now, basically I have no clue if it's going to work or not. Just squeeze that up a tiny bit. There we go. Right, spring. So with the spring, it winds into the bottom mount. I've turned this down for the top mount, and I'm going to see how all this works out. Say this literally is, I'm making this up as I go along. It could be a case, I don't know, because these springs were, they are what they are. They're so basic. It is such a basic idea. I know some people do actually make mounts and put like a little shock absorber in here. We're not saying no to that. That could happen. We'll see. We sort of get that it's not going to ride like a GSXR or an R1 or anything like that. We get that. It's a sunny Sunday plodder. So you sort of, yeah, you turn a blind eye a bit to how these ride. Right, I did have a bolt that I done for this. Where have I put that? Are you kidding me? Here we go. Here it is. I'll say, you'll see me not using washers and things like that. This is just mocking things up. This will be the tough bit, so I'm obviously going against the spring now. Someone got a spare couple of arms I can have. So I'll know more how all that's going to work when the weight of the bike's on it. Whether we've got to do something to shorten the spring or whatever. I do not know at this point. We'll get the handlebars on as well, because obviously we've got to make sure we don't hit the tank with them. Then obviously we'll have to fit some stops as well, also to stop the forks and the bars hitting the tank. But all this is sort of got to evolve as we go along. I know that's all crushed in there at the minute. It must look terrible, but these are the bridges we've got to cross as we put it together. Because obviously that's quite a strong spring. I think it's looking like that spring might need shortening a bit. And I will think of a way where it's all contained in the top as well. Although that is impossible for that spring to jump out of there. So as you can see, it's on the headstock at the moment. We'll figure that out. Tell you what, oh, that's fully adjusted out. Okay, I'll figure that out when the weight of the bike's on the front end, and then I'll figure out how to do all the adjustments to get that spring away. That's not going to be a problem. Obviously it's like right down at the moment, as these need to sit sort of across here, but we'll figure that out. Right, let's have a look at the tank. Obviously we've got to make completely different brackets for this. Ooh. That's not got to come up too high to miss the engine. That's good. I think we're going to get away with that. There's loads of room underneath it. So I think if we just pack, literally, it sounds a bit bodgery, but we'll just put a load of packing under there for it to sit high. So we can stand back, have a look at it and figure it out. I think we'll drop some handlebars in. I think we're going to have plenty of clearance. Let's drop some things under there to pack it out. Some old rags is as good as anything, I guess. Don't worry, Dan, I didn't drop nothing. That was my spanner. Well, I did drop some, but it weren't yours. Let's shove another one on up its back end. Oh, hey. See, what I want to try and do, which we'll know more, I won't make the brackets for this tank till I've got wheels in and I've had it sat on the floor, because I like to see the bottom of the tank sort of parallel with the road and not sort of sat up. That's all well and good for an old 70s style chopper, but with this I like all the lines to flow and be nice. So we'll get some ideas of that. Then if I pack that tank up properly, then I can make measurements for all the brackets for it. But looking at the top of that and looking at the frame, we are going to have a nice line with that. And I'll probably make the seat, let's see, come and have a look. Come and have a look, you lot. See, I'll probably make the seat so it follows this nice then, you see. Because the front of the seat, it doesn't really have any movement there, hardly at all, but we'll leave plenty of clearance. But if I make the seat so it follows this rad and tidy that rad up because it's a bit bumpy, and if we come out of that and have a nice dip in it and a flip up at the back, because there's nothing worse when you see a bike and it's got all nice lines, it has a seat that's just dead flat. I think it ruins it. It's nice to probably come up, down, then flip up a bit. It just adds to the shape, I think. But I am 99.9% sure that tank's going to work. I quite like it. I do. Quite like it. I thought it may be a bit deep, but it's working, which is brilliant. Because that's really going to add to the era of bike we've sort of given a nod to. Yeah, that ain't bad at all. Right, let's try these. These are inch, I do believe. And it looks like they'd clamp up. So at least, if anything, we'll be able to push the bike about. And these are stainless as well. So if you did actually like these bars done, I can polish them all, look like brand new. We will see. Again, handlebars can really bugger the look of the bike. It's all got to look right at the end of the day. What's going to fit that? That one, is that going to fit? Nope, these are all over the place. No, that one's going to fit. So if we do change them, at least we know inch bars are going to fit. We'll see how it goes. What I think I'm going to do next is probably put the carburetor on, as we've got a brand new AML carburetor that's going on this, but we need to check clearances. As this tank is running 2 fuel taps, one, I need to check the clearance of the carb with the tank. There's a good void up there, so I think we'll be all right with that. And 2, obviously we've got to tap this side as well, so we need to know that's all going to clear. Yes, you have a look. This part here is where one of the fixings is going to be, and just there we've got where the fuel tap's going to be, and obviously in this gap here is where the carb's going to be. So we're going to make sure all this is going to clear. I'm not going to do the fixings for the tank until the bike is sat on the floor, because we want the bottom line of this tank parallel with the road, which I think looks a lot better. Like I say, we don't want it kicking up in the air. It's not a chopper. So let's get a carb out and see what clearances we've got. And obviously all the old tank mounting points will be sort of bunged up, welded up, and you'll never know they were there. And the new ones are all fitted from underneath, as you can see, front and back. Anyway, let's get a carb out and see what happens. There we go. Also, we've got to make sure we've got clearance on the cables as well. You know, if worst scenario, if I have to, we'll have to cut a bit extra out the tank. We will see. May have to. We'll just get one bolt on it for now. Right, that'll do. Well, it might be all right. I think the back of the tank needs to come up slightly anyway. So we'll know more when it's on the floor. I'm going to get a fuel tap in. Hopefully that will clear. See, with the back of this tank being so high, obviously we need 2 taps, else it'll you'll have a lot of wasted fuel over this side that you won't be able to get to. You'll be running out of fuel and there'll be a gallon left over here. Yeah, I think the back of the tank needs to come up slightly anyway. Looking at the top of that engine. So we might be all right with the cables and everything. Let's put a bit more packing under the back of that tank. Some gloves might do it. See, that may seem high, but when the seat goes on, it will flow, definitely. Let's see, let's try and get that under a bit more. That's running about parallel with the rocker covers, which is normally a good eye line to go with, I guess. Let's see what clearance that is giving us. Plenty for the cables, plenty for the bracket, and plenty for the fuel tap, I think. Yeah, let's have a look. Yeah, so we've got plenty of room for the cables to go up. Ignore the racks. They're not there, you can't see them. And obviously we're going to have a bit of a filter here. So we'll see how much the fuel tap comes down. Let's put that on now, see what it looks like. So we've got the tank now sort of parallel with the rockers there. I think that is all right. If you look at the top of the tank, that's dropping down. We're sort of lining with the back of the frame, and the seat will create a bit of that line as well. We're looking all right. This is where you spend a lot of time on the mock-up to get everything right. A bike can go all wrong at this stage. And like I say, I won't be doing nothing fixed till it's sat on the floor as well, because when you put them on the floor, everything can change. I've seen many people put their tank badge stickers on, and when the bike goes on the floor, the stickers are facing down or up, when really they should be parallel. I've seen that happen many a time. Anyway, let's get a fuel tap and see how that's looking. Yeah. We might have to sort that out a bit. We could probably run the fuel lines through some old style looking glass fuel filters anyway. But I'm going to take that off for now. That's quite fragile. Let's drop that back in there. Yeah, I think we're going to have plenty of clearance. Obviously with the two taps we'll run them into a T-piece, then a single feed to the carb. I don't think we're going to have much trouble there. All the brackets will be welded to the frame, so they're all fixed. These ones I'll have to drop down a fair bit more to grab the front mounting points. I'll say I'm not going to do that till it's sat on the deck, to be 100% sure. It's looking positive. And obviously when we do the rear mounts, I'll do a fixing point for the top head steady as well, because obviously I've removed that because it tied in with the rear mount for the original tank. So I'll tie that in with the tank mounts for this. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of thinking time. It's all good. I enjoy this bit. That's looking promising. I'm pleased with that. I am pleased with how it all looks. Our concern, both mine and Dan's concern, was the depth of the tank and its clearance with the engine. But under here, we have got tons of space. Probably more than a tank that should be on the bike, actually. Which is good. Oh. Right, what shall we do next? So we've got bars on, although they're temporary. All that's going to be fine, I do believe. I think I might get the back wheel in, and then I can start planning the seat pan and the mudguard. Let's do that. Right, got the spacer in. I think we're a little bit high with that under there. So I can carefully roll it back. I want my bench back. Let's see how that's looking. There we go. Sorted. Sorted. Right, let's just spin some nuts on there for now. Obviously we've got to make the side mount number plate as well. Well, I've actually made one for this, just got to do the brackets. Let's just use the fit all spanner on this. It's much nicer when everything's going back together, when it's all being powdered, painted, polished. But obviously for mock-up, it's not worth it because you don't want to mark anything or scratch anything at all. But yeah, this is a little bit on the mucky side. And then we're going to need to sort of chain out, because we need to do all the chain adjustment before we get the mudguard in the right place. And I'm going to treat it to a nice old-fashioned ribbed mudguard for this Danny boy, which I've got one hanging up, I think. Let's have a look. Right, yeah, that I think we need a longish mudguard on this, because we want to obviously have that vintagey look, but I don't think that long. And obviously it needs to sit up for clearance. But yeah, bit of a rib mudguard will look well on this one, I think. So we'll see. I'll have a think about how long that's going to be. You don't want to come all the way around, that'll look a bit silly. It's sort of obviously getting the military thing going on, but also having a custom theme as well, and sort of mixing and matching the pair so it still looks right. So I'll have a think about that, and possibly on this one, again tying in with a bit of an old British vintage look, is probably a mudguard brace on this one, like the loop, a nice little fitting on the top there, because I don't normally put braces on them. I do them quite short, so they're all okay off the brackets off the frame. I think if we had this one a bit longer, we'll do a loop on this. obviously the things I'm saying are not set in stone. It's just all thinking it out at the moment. Probably about where it is actually. Then we'll set it out with a chain on and space it all. Yeah. Yeah, I think you can see where it's going. At last it's coming together, albeit the mock-up build. There'll be a lot of chopping and changing at this stage. But I think it's going in the right direction, looks wise. I'm really pleased with the tank. Pleased with the girders, although they still need a bit of messing about. Pleased that the carb's clearing and things like that, and the fuel taps. And it looks well with the engine and the frame. Probably on camera this gap probably looks massive, this one here on the tank, but it's not that bad at all. And when the seat's in there, that void will be filled up. Let's have a look round it. It's starting to look like a bike again. So yeah, I think possibly a mudguard loop on this one. Because the Enfield military bike had mudguard loops on them, or brackets, so I'm not quite sure, but they did have, definitely had brackets coming up, if not a full loop. We'll cover that. I'll have a look, do a bit of study and see what they were like on the back end. So we'll do the seat pan next, and that'll fill this void here. It may look massive to you, but honestly, in the flesh, it's really not bad at all. We're sort of following the line of the rocker covers there, which gives me a good indication that the bottom of the tank will be parallel with the road when the bike's sat on the wheels. We've discovered that we've got to use inch bars and not what's normally 7/8 on the old British stuff, normally. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. It's all a bit rough and ready and mockled together, but that's what sort of pre-build's all about, getting everything right. So you know before it starts hitting paint and powder and polishing and everything like that, you're 100% happy with how it all looks. Well, that's it's going to look well, I think. We've got a hell of a lot to go through, all the fine details, like where this big 8-inch headlight's going to go, where the speedo's going to go. Obviously we can't do nothing about the exhaust just yet till I've got the bike lifted up more or on the floor on the wheels. What else we got? Obviously the footrest, the brake pedal. Obviously the brake pedal's the other side, but it's all these little bits that really start taking the time. Putting the big chunks together doesn't take a lot of time. It's all the small parts, laying them all out, getting them right, getting everything to work is where it really soaks up the time. But we're heading in the right direction, and I'm quite pleased. I'm really pleased with how that tank looks actually. Both of us were sort of not 100% sure about it, but I'm quite pleased with that. As you can see, it drops into that line of the frame nicely, which is good. I think that'll do for this one. It's been quite a long day to get to that stage actually. I've said you'll spot bits that ain't quite right, I'm fully aware of all that, like the spring on the girders. That's all got to be sort of fine-tuned and sorted out. We'll get to that, but I think that'll do for this one. On next video, I think we'll go for the seat pan, because we want that to fall in line with that gap in the tank and sit nice with the mudguard, and obviously enough clearance for the thing to pivot. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I really am. It's going to look well, this is. It really is. Anyway, I'm off. Cheers for watching, guys.